Guten Morgen, willkommen. Last time you saw me do the frills, the Seepferdchen. Did I say it right? Yeah, Seepferdchen. I remembered it correctly. Good. And now it looks like I'm just working on fins. And the good news is, I think I won the game of Yarn Chicken. I don't think I have to touch the green again because literally everything that I have left says Rocheblau, which has been this color. And I know I have more than enough of this color. Yeah. I have like 2 balls of that yarn left down there. So the next thing I have to tackle is the Flosse. Which weird name, right? Flosse. Which, considering like things that are coming forward are telling me times 2 times 2 times 2. So I think like there's not really a picture of the Flosse except right here. So I think I'm working on a back fin. Realizing there's like no back view of the seahorse. But we're going to get started with the Flosse and see how it goes. So it wants me to chain 16. So there's a sentence that follows that I don't understand. But I can guess. So let's put the 16 on. Ooh, I can count this entirely in German because 16 is a multiple of 4. And I only know how to count in German in 4. So ein, zwei, drei, vier. It's 1. Ein, zwei, drei, vier. That's 2. Ein, zwei, drei, vier. That's 3. Ein, zwei, drei, vier. That's 4. Okay. Now we have 16. Oh yeah. Isn't it Germany who, when you count to 3, they go like this instead of like this? Am I remembering that correctly? I don't know. There's a sentence that says, "Et lang better zetten keur kette hakelen." I don't know if that means like you're going to be working on both sides of this thing. Oh, that looks like exactly what it's going to be. So in the second stitch from there, it wants me to do 14. All right. Then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then it's telling me to do 3 stitches in the same stitch. It's like 3 FM in die Nasche LM. And then it follows with auf der Rückseite der LM-Kette. Then here's a tongue twister. Wetterarbeiten. So I assume what it's telling me to do. And then it follows with like 13 stitches and then 1 increase. So we end up with 32. So what I'm assuming it's telling me to do is just like the 4 on one side, and I do 3 in the same stitch. So it's just 1, 2, and I'm going to assume this is on the inside, so 3, yeah. And then I do 13 on this side. And then I just create a round, which makes sense with what I'm assuming the Ruck and Flosse is to look. Or is it Flosse? Yeah, because Germans pronounce everything, right? There's like no silent letters or syllables or whatnot. I believe so. I don't know for a fact. A lot of me is just like bullshitting this stuff, right? So, there's probably a more YouTube friendly way to say that, but so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, I'm right on track. Yeah, I love when I'm like right on track. All right. And then I increase in one of the stitches, which leads me to 32. Okay. So I increase here. 1, 2. And then I'm assuming I'm in like this stitch right here, not that stitch right there, because that's like the increase for whatnot. We'll find out. I can always just count, yeah? This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, I lost track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2. Yeah, I am right on track. Go me. All right. So then I just do the 32 all along. I was thinking about the Rosetta Stone recently. Because, like, last time I mentioned I had that dream with, like, the tarot cards with the 4 different languages. And it's like, wow, it's like a tarot Rosetta Stone. And, I mean, man, that's, like, a really impressive object, right? The Rosetta Stone. Like, someone took the time to carve the same exact thing in 3 different languages in the one stone. And that's, like, the only way we have, like, the Epic of Gilgamesh now, if I'm remembering that correctly. It's like there's some ancient language that we only... Or, no, that's the reason we understand Egyptian hieroglyphs. I could also be right about the Epic of Gilgamesh thing. I don't know. It's like, I had a very good education, but my mind is not as well source-cited as a library would be, or an encyclopedia. So, yeah, I think I definitely know I saw a replica of the Rosetta Stone. Because they have a replica of the Rosetta Stone in the Penn Museum of Art and Archaeology. They also have a lot of Egyptology stuff because outside of the British Museum in Egypt, the Penn Museum is the third largest source of Egyptian artifacts in the world. Although the last time I was there, like the Penn Museum started referencing how like not all their stuff was gotten ethically, and they started referencing that in their placards, which was like, good for you. That is a very important thing for you to address. Thank you. I think the location of the Rosetta Stone is I think it's the British Museum in London, which means I think I've seen it because I went to that museum when I was in London. It was very important for me to go to that museum because they have a lot of stuff you don't see otherwise. That being said, I think it was a lot more crowded around the real Rosetta Stone than it was around the replica. Understandably so. If you want to get like real up and close to the Rosetta Stone, you have a much better chance of getting to the replica. Same thing if you want to get real up close to a Da Vinci painting. All right. So that's the second row. So now it wants me to... I should probably be keeping track of the row counter because we know I get distracted, yeah. It wants me to decrease, then 12, then decrease twice, then another 12, and then decrease. Makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, you try to go see the Mona Lisa. Like, I was not terribly impressed. I got as close as I could. But in general, Da Vinci's paintings are not amazing from far away. You want to get really close to a Da Vinci painting, you need to go to the one in Washington, D.C. It's like in the Smithsonian Art Museum in Washington, D.C. You can literally get within a foot of that, and you can actually see both sides because, surprise, surprise, he painted both the front and the back. And you can actually get close and see his individual brushstrokes. So much closer than you can get to the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa is only as famous as it is because someone stole it and no one realized for a while, and it's like, oh my god. And it's like, well, what was so important about this painting that needed to be stolen? So now it's under very heavy guard. So I decrease 1. Okay, so now I got to actually focus. 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go. And then it has me decrease twice. So we decrease. Oh, the yarn's squealing again. Why is the yarn squealing? I don't like it when the yarn squeals. And then we do the 12. I find out that it's like harder to keep track of where, like if you have it in the round with crochet, like if it's knitting, it's like, yeah, the stitches stay stacked up on top of each other. But when you're crocheting, the yarn kind of curls around. I'm finding that to be a little bit more difficult to keep things straight when I'm crocheting. When you're trying to make a neck and the neck is going straight, but the stitches are curling around, because that's just how crochet works. Four, 5, 6. It's going to make it harder to start planning stuff like for designing patterns when it comes to crochet, if you're trying to get something in a certain direction. I lost track. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I don't know why I just had an image of the main character from Farscape in my head at this very moment. But I did. 7. He had nothing to do with 8, with what I was just talking about. 9, 10. Oh, good. I'm still right on track. So I just do the 11, 12, and then I do the decrease, and then I have finished that row or round. Row and round are pretty much interchangeable when it comes to knitting, like practically speaking. They're essentially the same things, just one you do it continuously and the other one you just go back and forth like you're a typewriter. Is a typewriter the best analogy for that? I don't know. I don't know. I have used a typewriter though. I used it for the first time when I was 16 because at the Boy Scout camp where I worked at, they have like these training cards, and it was easier to get the typed look on the training cards by physically feeding them into the typewriter and making sure they were like at the right spot. However, you messed up with the typewriter, gotta start all over. I think they eventually got. I wouldn't be very surprised with the amount of like computer nerds that were there if they found a way to make it work without the typewriter. Like if they found a way to print it out on the computer and have it line up where it should be on the computer. Like a Word document where it puts it in the right spot. Because that's what eventually happened when I worked for the Eagles. I mean, it's been nearly 10 years since I've been at the Boy Scout camp. A lot has happened technologically in the past 10 years. In fact, I'm pretty sure that piece of technology that I was describing was around over 10 years ago. So now it just wants me to decrease once, but still do the 12 stitches. So, okay, we do the decreasey. Then we do the 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. See, we're not quite on the same part as before, but somehow it works, somehow. And 12, so just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. Yep. Meep beep. Meep meep. Oh, and then we got just like 2 more rows. And then there's a paragraph after the 2 more rows, and it's got some of the weirdest looking words I have ever seen. There's one word that says drucken, drucken, and it has an umlaut on it. Like, Rucken Flosse nicht Ausstoffen, Offens Flossen nen Flach drucken und ten durch wieder lagen hacklen die Hoffnung zu schreiben. Kevin on lagen faden zum nahen lassen. I mean, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right, so I'm looking at like that paragraph right there if I'm not trying it out and if you want to pause it for yourself. Just so I can like out just how badly I'm butchering this poor language. Like what? Yeah, I mean, just I swear I'm sober. I know it may not seem like I am, but I swear I am. I'm just about 3 days into my 3rd day off. I haven't had to be responsible for a couple days, so it's going to be a rough transition when I have to be responsible tomorrow. Okay. So after all that, we're going to do the same thing, just like decrease. I mean, it is October. Like, doesn't Oktoberfest happen in October? You would think it. I mean, that could be a misnomer. Like, September in general is a misnomer. Because it means the 9th month. No. It means the 7th month, and it's actually the 9th month. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 'So after that whole laughing fit I had over that thing, what I think it's telling me to do is to like, I'm going to end up with like 20 stitches. So I think it's telling me to not stuff it and crochet those stitches together so I have 10 so I can just sew the thing on. Would be my guess. Because when I look at the thing, it doesn't look stuffed. It looks flat. I did the decrease there. Because, you know, having a fin that is not flat is not very, I want to say aerodynamic, but what's like the water version of aerodynamic? Is it still just aerodynamic? It could be. Could be. As I'm doubting every word in a language that I am fluent in. So now we do all the decreases. Still same location for the decreases, but more of them. So do ein, zwei, drei, vier, ein, zwei, drei, vier, and then we do 2 decreases. Ooh. And then it's ein, zwei, drei, vier, then ein, zwei, drei, vier, then it's our decrease in net. It's row 6, people. All right, so now I have 20, and I'm supposed to somehow get 10 stitches together. So that's 1. Meet. There you go. And that's hoping I'm lining this up correctly. I'll find out if I get it right or not by the time I finish this row. It looks like it's working. I mean, obviously it is working. Whether I lined it up correctly is the other story. It does not look like I did. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I did not. That's okay. Now we have 10. And I'm going to assume that part of it is leave a long yarn to sew, which is probably too long, but meh. Okay. We have our rockin' Flosse. I didn't think it was going to be as symmetrical as it is. The picture didn't look like it. But following that, we have die Spitzen der Settenflosse, and then followed by the Settenflosse. So it's asking me to make 6 of the Spitzen, and then 2 of the Settenflossen, which makes me think it wants me to work on these next. Because this is something that goes into 3. And then there's 2 of them. I can math. I can math. And heavens above, we are finally back to the fodden rings. Okay. So basically, in order to make all the Spitzen for der Flossen, I make a magic ring of 5. So it's just 1. Also looks like there's some sewing going on there because that is yarn. That is a straight piece of yarn. That's not, even though that's white, that doesn't blend in with the background completely. That is actually yarn. Which, whether I'll actually follow that detail or not, we'll find out. I may decide to go rogue by then. Yeah, I only have 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we pull it nice and tight. So we get our little ring. And then I increase in every stitch. It's solid instruction. You do a magic ring, you want it to be like the middle and whatnot, you just increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then literally the rest of it is just do the same stitch for 3 more rows. So all pretty simple stuff you guys seen me do before. I'm just going to keep track with the counter. And then we got another full thing, another full paragraph. So it's basically bei to Spitzen 1 km in Dynasche Häkeln Abecken auf jeder Spitzen in Garnum zum Lasun Julis die letzten Markerin. Something about connecting them with a slip stitch. Das Hilfsblätterbeam verbinden der Spitzen die Seepferdchen zu häkeln. Die 3 Spitzen Julis häkeln, die Abketten mit Flosse with your machen. You see, I don't understand the individual words, but judging from what this type of instruction would typically be in English, I can kind of guess what they're going to have me do forward. So usually when something like this happens, this seems like it's telling me to do it a little bit differently. But usually what happens is when you get to like the third one, they tell you cut the yarn for the first 2. And then don't cut the yarn for the third one. And use the yarn for the third one to attach the first 2 all together. And usually they tell me how many rows, and there are also diagrams that tell me how to attach them, yeah? Yeah, I can see there are like diagrams here. Anyway, I'm gonna just go ahead and make all the Spitzen, and I will come back when it's time to attach them all together. Alright, so while I was making the Spitzen, I had more time to pore over the instructions, and I think I finally understand what that paragraph underneath is telling me to do. So, just for reference, usually when I do this type of pattern where I have like a bunch of like little digits or whatnot that all have to be put into one, I'll just make a bunch of the digits and then I'll attach them all at once. This is telling me to attach them as I go. So, as long as I don't like shine you out here. So, here, you got the two, and you attach the two, and then they're already attached when you come by with the third, and then you attach the third that way. Which is smart. It's easier to just use the thread that's already there instead of just like hoping that it's going to stick together. But it kind of kills my plan of just let's bang out 4 of the digits and then we'll use the last 2 digits to kind of just bring the 3 together. Like I was making both kind of concurrently. But we're going to try to follow the book. We're not going to go completely rogue because the book has been very, very clear up until this point. So, you guys may end up missing this part real quick, but by the time I get to the Spitze, attaching like the Spitze to be more of the Flosse, they'll kind of be somewhat semi-attached. I made all of the little Spitzen at this point. And now I'm at the part where they need to come together. So if I'm looking at it, like I'm kind of looking at the pictures to kind of help me with this instruction. Because otherwise I just would have done it my own way. But it's like referencing like 4 of the different pictures. All of them. All the pictures. Oh. I should have just done it my own way. She was explaining it my own way. Just like, what? Okay. Which means that, yeah, that stitch was not necessary. That just explains everything, yeah? Like, that was nice. That was a nice experiment, but no. No. We're just going to do it my own way. Because that's the way she wants it. So. I could just do that, but I'd rather work with that one first. All right. So what I do know from here is that at the end of this, I am supposed to have a round with 30 stitches. I'm going to put 3 of these together in the same thing. In the same, like, Flosse. And they have 10 stitches each. 10 times 3 equals 30, which means I'm going to be using every single stitch to make this happen. Which makes sense. So, in order to do this right, I start with 5. And it's going to be single crochet the whole way. So it's just, right, we don't catch on anything. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I bring the next one thing. I'm going to start in the one right next to where it ends. Somehow the yarn's going to make it through. Woo! Somehow. More like that. There we go. That makes more sense. And we make sure we don't get the tail, but the actual like feeder yarn. Yeah. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then with the last digit, we do all 10 at once, because that's how we get back to the other side. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I just realized there's like a string there. I hope that's the end of everything and not just a cut yarn that I didn't realize was cut. Anyway, where was I? My gosh. Okay. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now we go back to around here and we do the 5. So we do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we go back to 5 in here, which we now have some sort of extra long thread that's not supposed to be extra long. But hopefully this will fix it. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, what? I put it in a stitch I wasn't supposed to put in. So, yeah. We start with the next one. 1, 2. Of course, the fact that I'm trying to do this with navy blue, which other than black is and like dark purple, is not even the dark purple. It's like really, really hard to see. Makes this a little bit harder. But I was the one who chose this color. No one forced this color on me. That's 5. There we go. Voila. The sets and flossing is together. We reset our counter. There we go. So now with the set of flosse, it's pretty much just the same thing you saw me do with the Ruck and Flosse, yeah? I'm basically I'm either doing a full row in single crochet, or I'm doing a row that's a mix of single crochet and decreases. It doesn't look like there's any really hard instructions until you get to... Oh! Yeah, there's a whole instruction on using the mint green, to sew the little thingies. Okay. We'll get to that when we get to that. Meanwhile, I'm just going to enjoy my little thing, which I've been listening to Selena Gomez for the first time in a while, and what I realized was, one, she sings songs that I didn't realize she was a singer, and two, her songs are a little bit sadder than I remember them being. But we'll see. I'll be back. I finished the satin flosse, which now that I keep coming on flosse in like multiples of these things, and they keep showing up in the fins, I think flosse means fin, people. So, couple fun developments. One is there was an instruction that told me to sew, like, so when I was putting these together, there was obviously a little gap that showed up because that's what happens when you put stuff together, and I just used it to sew it from the inside, and then there was an instruction that told me, hey, sew it from the outside, which might have been easier, but also it's like, I did that literally an instruction before the instruction that told me to do it, so I was like, great intuition here. And then also, that thing that I hoped wasn't the end, well, actually, it looks like at some point I came across, like, the yarn was probably bad when I was rolling it, and then it happened like that. And fortunately, I finished it before it got to that, because this would have been a bad place to hide it. And I have this to continue the rest of it, so I don't have to come across that for at least this stuffed animal. And then it wants me to use the mint gun to kind of sew it together. I think it wants me to seal it before I sew, but honestly, I'm going to sew before I seal because then I can tie a knot and know it's secure. And it's being very nice and giving me exact directions of how long it's going to be, but I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to eyeball it. Because it's really not that important. And I don't think I need to stuff it because when I look at the picture, this looks I'm working on this. This looks relatively flat. Like, can you see it? Yeah. This looks relatively flat to me. So I don't think I have to stuff it, which means I can seal it up. But I'm going to sew it before I seal it up. So yeah, basically I just go through like that, and then I go here, and then we skip the amount of stitches it wants me to skip approximately, and voila. And then, oh, I'm actually going to flip that to that hole right there. Yeah. And bring it down to the amount of stitches it wants me to skip. And look at that. So pretty. Wait. So pretty, so simple. And I can just tie a knot and know it's not coming, and know it's not coming out. That was the no that started with a K. In case you were unsure. Because it could have been both in that scenario. No, don't come out, Stitch. Don't come out. Oh, it wasn't going to come out. I pulled it all the way through. I think I'm a bit loopy right now. Maybe. Why do I love filming these when I'm loopy? I don't know. It's more entertaining that way, I guess. Less inhibitions, who knows. I was like really tired at the hairdresser's office that I asked some questions I typically wouldn't ask. But they were very accepting of me. It made it a very fun thing. So, this is going to be that. I think I'm going to start with I'm going to sew the other one later on. If I remember where I placed the yarn. that I cut because I cut 2. Did I cut 2? I lost the yarn I cut. Oh no. Okay. Oh, it just blended into my pants. It's all good. Green, gray, same thing. I mean, I am wearing like this type of pants, and you can see blends in relatively well. I'm very happy of my Poison Dart Frog pants, which I bought for a pajama day at work because I wanted something that screamed pajamas, and none of my pajamas scream pajamas without having rips in them. And then I never wore them to work again because they don't have pockets. And I need pockets at work. Anyway, the shirt I wore over and over again. So I basically have this shirt that says MILF. And it says, man, I love frogs. And people are so accepting at work. Oh my gosh. It's just like, yeah, you want to wear a shirt that says MILF? Go for it. Go for it. All right. So for the cough floss, by process of elimination, I'm pretty sure these are the ear flaps on my seahorse. I'm pretty sure it's these things. It's pretty simple. There's only one row. Oh. As I'm resetting the counter, even though I'm probably not going to need it. Yeah. So I chained 7. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in 3 stitches from there, so in the 3rd stitch from the needle, okay, I do 5 stitches in the same stitch. And then I slip a stitch. Okay. It's basically 1. That's going to be a crowded stitch if we're putting 5 in the same one. 2, 3, 4, 5. Why is this making me think of Farscape? This has nothing to do with Farscape. Then wants me to slip a stitch. And then repeat that one more time. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's been like over a year since I watched Farscape 2. 5. Let me do another slip stitch. Oh my gosh. The reason why it says repeat only once and not repeat twice is because for the last one, it wants me to put the 5 double crochets and the slip stitch in the same stitch. Because, 5 stitches in the same stitch wasn't enough. We got to make it 6 now, yeah? So, here we go. All right. Fine. Sigh. Dry. Yeah. And 5. And then somehow I slip stitch this. I've got a weird feeling about this one. I'm not gonna cut the yarn because I'm pretty sure I'm going to need that to like sew the baby on. Yeah. I've got an end to weave in. I've got like this end to weave in here. So with this, after this, there's more than a paragraph. There are literally diagrams. There are literally like instructions with references to the diagrams. And the diagrams are showing me put the thing together. So let me show you how much of this I have to put together, yeah? So I got these 2 things. Once I make this, I've got one more, yeah? I got the Flosse. I got the Mahentail. I got the snails. I got the body. And then I got the head. So a lot. A lot is going to put together. So I think the next time you see me, our little seahorse is gonna be one piece. Just one piece. What I'm probably gonna do is I'm probably gonna attach all the head bits onto the head while it's loose. And then when I finally stuff Mr. Body here, then I'll put all the important head pieces onto the body. Although I may sew stuff onto the body before, like the head might be the last part. Maybe, maybe not. Nah, we'll see. But definitely all the little bits that are going on the head are going on the head before the head gets attached to the body. So we'll be back. It turned out amazing. Oh my gosh, this is our little Seepferdchen. And like, I'm really impressed. So this is the picture I was going for, yeah? And this is what I have. Pretty freaking close, yeah? I'm afraid the head might be, the head might be a little bit crooked, like, but if it is, it's very small crooked, not much. The fins are more crooked than the head. But, like, oh my gosh, this is stunning. This is a stunning pattern. I just can't get over it. Oh my gosh. And compared to some of the other ones that I've translated, like when I was choosing a pattern for the book, I was like, this looks like the most clear, in-depth book ever. Like, there were no problems. Or like, the problems were very, very minuscule when I was going through this book. And I was going through the pattern. It was like, it wasn't that I couldn't figure it out. Like, anything that I couldn't really figure out, they included pictures. I'd say my only thing is they don't have a picture of this like straight from the back, so I could kind of see where this belonged. But like the pictures were clear, the directions were clear, the numbers added up. So I could like, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, how does this work? Like a lot of, like I was doing with a lot of the French ones. Yeah, and this is really adorable. Oh my gosh. Also, I would say like with this reference picture, the color, like maybe it looked better in person, but there wasn't enough difference between the mint green and the light blue that made me think it was like the same color. But everything else was like great with this book. I'm definitely making something else from this book again. Oh my gosh. I just don't know what that is yet. But like Erinna Lee did an amazing job writing out the patterns. Anyway, I guess the next time I'm going to be knitting another language, the next time I'm going to be dealing with German, I'm actually have to do the knitting half. So I'll be trying for the knitting book next. So that was today's entertainment. Have a nice day. Danke for watching and auf Wiedersehen.